Hey, welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. This is Victor Kumar. Today we're going to talk about retirement. Now, when we start out on property investing or any sort of investing, we are always throwing this word around, retirement. But what does it really mean? Now, driving in today, I was thinking of, okay, what does retirement really mean to people? Is it really income supplementation? Is it income replacement? Or, like most people, is it just a word that we're throwing out where we're saying, oh, we want to retire in 10 years' time, or we want to retire comfortably when we hit age 65? And if your goal in that sense, if you're just throwing that word out to say, I'm going to retire, or I want to be really comfortable in retirement, there isn't really an aiming point. So if you take an analogy of going on a trip in your car, depending on when you want to reach a destination and depending on the traffic along that way will determine your journey. And so often what you'll find is that if you've got the destination dialed in other words, it's come back to an income position as opposed to really looking at it from a number of properties, number of years that you want to invest, all of those things. Then we can dial it back to, okay, this is the amount of capital we have. So in other words, the car itself, you're gonna buy it. And then we're looking at the operating of that journey. So in other words, how much fuel we've got in the tank. And along the way, whether we're going down the toll road or going down the scenic road. So if I bring it back to property, it depends on how much of a rush you are. And I will use the word rush rather fleetingly because everyone seems to be in a rush. But this is where people get sidetracked. They start going after the shiny properties. They start going after the wrong types of properties because they haven't mapped out what the initial goal really is. So this is what you need to really do. Think of it, is it going to be income supplementation? So in other words, I'm buying back a day of a time, or I'm going to go from my very stressful, demanding job to a less stressful role, less stressful job. Or am I going income replacement, in which case the journey looks a bit different. And therefore we are really looking at, okay, whatever I'm earning right now in today's dollars, in 20 years time, 10 years time, 30 years time, I want that coming in as passive income. That then helps you put the right types of properties in place and the right strategies in place, rather than getting distracted by what's happening in the market right now with the first home buyer assist scheme really making the market quite volatile, and you then struggling to latch onto a property because you're now in the space of buying a property rather than getting a property to help you towards your income goal. So make sure that you're using the right terminology and the right mindset to set up your goals, which will then help you determine buying the right types of properties in the right order without speculating. That's your Wednesday Wisdom. Have an awesome week.